Trustee Geezer.
Here.
Trustee Fruzzoloni.
Here.
Trustee McCarthy.
Here.
Mayor Severino.
Here. Please stand and face the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Their motion to approve the minutes of our April 15, 2024 Village Board meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Trustee McCarthy, seconded by Trustee Fruzzoloni. Clerk, call the roll, please.
Trustee Anselmo.
Aye.
Trustee Berger.
Aye.
Trustee Zalick.
Aye.
Trustee Geezer.
Aye.
Trustee Fruzzoloni.
Aye.
Trustee McCarthy.
Aye.
Under listening posts, we have quite a few for tonight, so we'll start off with Stephanie Cartwright. Stephanie, did I pronounce that right? Stephen, I'm sorry. Stephen, you were moving. Thank you for moving quick.
Thank you. I'll be brief. I wrote down my thoughts. It's all right. There's a lot that I don't know, so I'm still learning. My name is Stephen Cartwright, and I work at Wheaton College. I've never been very comfortable in these suburbs, and admittedly, haven't invested in the community beyond most of the students that I get to invest in during the year. So why would I be here? I'm here currently as a black man who has witnessed stories like Isaac's far too often, just with a different actor in the starring role. I understand that officers were responding to a report of domestic violence, which is a warranted response, but I'm confused as to how that so quickly escalated to Isaac's death. I'm here because even after watching the limited video released, I can't make sense of what reportedly happened or why it's taking months to gain more information. I'm here because I'm aware that I could be in Isaac's role, and if I'm honest, I'm skeptical that justice will be done. A skepticism that within the context of our nation's history with race, I think is warranted. But I'm also here for other reasons. I am a Christian, and even though everyone here may not be, it strikes me that we are in a really well-churched area, which means that it's plausible that there are Christians maybe even involved in this case, maybe in this room. And in my Old Testament, God tells his people what to do when they have power and positions of authority. He tells them to do justice. He tells them to love mercy, and he tells them then to walk humbly with him. So this attempt to understand why Isaac is dead is an attempt for me to do justice, even though I didn't know him, and to have those elected, those in power and positions to make change, properly carry out justice. It is an attempt not to stay silent, complicit, apathetic, as our world, our communities still hurt each other. I couldn't do that even in a neighboring city like Wheaton. Most of all, I'm here to tell the family of Isaac that there are Christians praying for you, helping to amplify your voice and ready to lament with you. Because my God is acquainted with grief, he's familiar with loss, and he's bringing justice in the world. I believe that. And because that's who he is, I'm just here to challenge this community to be about the same. So, thank you.
Lauren Pector.
Hello, my name is Lauren Pector, and I am a Wheaton resident, and I'm also a middle school teacher in the community. Many students who attend my school live in the building that Isaac Goodloe was murdered in, and many students have been personally affected by Isaac's murder. I'm here today to demand justice for Isaac and his family. Those of you sitting in front of me have the power and the privilege to do what is right. Use this power and privilege to stop this cycle from happening. Do not turn a blind eye to the alarming reality that continues to plague our nation. In 2023, over 33 unarmed Black people were killed by police officers. In 2024, there have already been at least 6 unarmed Black people killed by police, including Isaac. Use your collective power and privilege to dismantle this cycle of injustice, not to perpetuate it. The responsibility rests upon you to ensure that Black people in our community can live without fear of becoming another statistic.
Demetrius Davis.
Good afternoon. I'm here for myself and a half of a friend, Mary Ebola. So the death of Isaac Goodloe touched home because it's in our community. I'm originally from Carroll Stream, been here for 25 years, and this has touched too close. We just asking for transparency for the demonstration of the release of the names of the officers involved for accountability and justice in the process. The main question is, when will it stop? What do we need to do for repercussions to happen for what's right and for what's wrong? Because it's not fair for us to have this hit so close to home and for the good officers that is doing their job to have to deal with what's going on today. Unprovoked shootings and the non-human treatment of the Blacks in the U.S. has for centuries been connected to the laws. Black people violence of the rights, trying to make their lives disposable. What we always known, the body cams and the cell phone footage is now showing. The main question is, now that we have proof, how do we prevent this from reoccurring? What must be done to stop the ill will and the improper police tactics? It is not fair for the ones who are actually doing their jobs and for the members of their family in our community. In the words of Keith Lamar, death row inmate on the Ohio State Penitentiary, the arc of moral universe bends towards justice, we are told. But this may be very well be, but we, with our very own hands, must mine and must bend it. In our closing words for Isaac's family, death is not the greatest loss in life. The greatest loss is what dies inside when we're still alive. Never surrender. Thank you.
This Mad Lou.
I'm going to read it for us. Being a neighbor in the community, a person of color, and a therapist, it's been heartbreaking to be part of this meeting in the first place. I don't think any human created in God's image deserves to die, especially at the hand of a police officer, especially if it's a Black person. I stand here to plead justice for Mr. Goodloe's family, for the blood that was mindlessly shed. How long is this going to continue, and shall we use our power to protect the weak? Thank you.
Wes Davidson.
I'll be reading on behalf of someone else, please. This is from Stephen Robinson, who is a family friend who lives on the west side of Chicago and the executive director from Northwest Austin Council. He also knows the minister who performed the ceremony, the funeral for Isaac. I wish to declare that Isaac Goodloe, a former resident of the Northwest Austin Council's community and my neighbor, sought a safer existence for himself and his family by moving from a city marred by crime to the calm of the suburbs. Regrettably, his pursuit of safety ended tragically when he was brutally executed in his own bed by individuals dressed in uniforms, acting in criminal overreach of their duties. This appalling act is not an isolated incident, but part of a broader, deeply concerning trend of misconduct and deception by local authorities who exceed their municipal mandates while being protected by the very hierarchy that claims to champion peace and justice for all citizens. We urgently call for a thorough and unbiased investigation by independent authorities dedicated to genuine justice, not a continuation of local cover-ups. Isaac Goodloe's tragic demise in his sanctuary, the very place where every individual should feel most secure, his own bed, highlights the dire need for accountability and reformed oversight in our community law enforcement practices. I'd like to share something else. Town council people, my name is Wes Davison. I am from the Wheaton area, but currently live in Forest Park. Thank you for facilitating this opportunity to exercise one of our most fundamental rights, to free speech and expression. With that being said, that is the extent of my thanks I will be extending to the council today. Dearest Goodloe family, and to all those who loved and knew and were touched by Isaac's life, I am devastated today. Though I know my words will not bring back Isaac's laughter, his smile, or his embrace. From the deepest part of my heart, I am so sorry for your loss, for the taking of a life without regard, and I'm also sorry that we are even in this room yet again today. We should not have to be here. We should not have to be here mourning the unjustified and state-led sanctioning of murder of yet another unarmed black man at the hands of our state. This which was created by the people, for the people, to protect us. They do not protect us. We protect us. To all of you, I am so sorry. Looking at the posters last time with Isaac's face here, all these times where the man who had hopes, dreams, thousands of memories, good days and bad days, who shed tears, who laughed until he couldn't laugh anymore, this man, Isaac, should be here. He should be here with us. Today I weep with you, but we do more. We will not merely sit by the side and weep at another black body murdered. We will scream. Scream for an answer and scream for accountability. Ultimately, and we will scream for an end of this system that is built upon systemic racism, patriarchy, and neo-capitalist protection of those with power. We today scream with you, and we will no longer sit idly by and let the police dictate what our safety looks like. Who serves and protects the streets? We the people. To you, the town council, who sits here as representatives of our communities, and by extension, our safety. I ask you, have you looked into the eyes of this family? Have you put yourself in their shoes, stood in their homes, thought their thoughts, wept their tears? I know you. You're humans. You have hearts. I know that deep down you see this system, the oppression and the exploitation built in. You know that justice and peace do not come through forced security and violence, that you passively and unfortunately sometimes actively condone through budgets, backdoor meetings, and the deputization of police. Today, as of the last 3 months, the silence has been deafening. Look at this family and look at this situation. Where is your humanity? Imagine if this was your son, your brother, your partner. What would you be doing today in this moment? We ask that the independent investigation move forward, this wheels of justice. No matter how broken this justice system is, move forward for this family. Release officers' names, take them off paid leave until the trial date is established. Release the full 911 call and the video as well. And reconsider the hiring of the Soto law firm, which will be supported to defend the officers with our money, the Goodloe family's money, the community, the taxpayers' money to hire the Soto law firm. Step up, be a human. Seek your empathy. You have it. I know. Look in your hearts. For at least look in the eyes of this family. We're not going anywhere. Some of you are up for election at some point soon. I'm so sorry to you all. I've been amazed and inspired by your bravery to keep showing up week after week. You shouldn't have to be doing that. Your patience and your compassion, even your compassion for the people in this room. I stand with you, and I know my words are but words, futile. They're so small, and they're not going to bring Isaac back. But let this community be one of action. Let this community be a source of strength and love for you all, as you loved Isaac.
Ron Julian.
Good evening. I'm reading the statement from my spouse, Dr. Ruth Julian, and we are neighbors of yours here living in Wheaton, Illinois. And here's her statement. First, I'd like to acknowledge the family of Isaac Goodloe. Once again, I share my heartfelt grief at the loss of your son, your brother, your uncle. Isaac should be here. You should not be here at the village board meeting, once again asking for justice and transparency. You're not alone. We are here. We are here for you. We are here to support you in your grief and your cries for justice. For months, you've heard the family and community members ask for the 911 call recording, the unredacted body cam footage, and the names of the officers involved in the shooting. Instead of releasing this information, as it has been released immediately, as it should have been released immediately after Isaac was killed, excuses were given and the information was withheld. And the family suffered over and over, first from the traumatic murder of their son, their brother, their uncle, and then from the injustice of the silence from those in power, from those who swear to protect and to serve. They asked for justice. They waited for justice, and they asked for justice, and they waited for justice. They asked for justice, and they waited for justice. And they got nothing for those who have power in this community to give them answers they were looking for. Instead, we hear that the town has hired the law firm that the Chicago Police Department uses when they have messed up. Tax dollars that will be used to cover and protect those in power instead of simply being transparent and open with the family and the community as a whole. Enough is enough. White skin, education, money, all these allow those of us who have them to live with power, a power of safety and justice for ourselves. People in our community with white skin, like I have often become afraid and angry when we hear that people talk about white skin together with power. We think that people are insinuating that we are racist. We don't think that we could ever be racist. But look at the board, all white, all educated, all with money. I'm not sure what percentage of Carol Stream is black, but I do wonder why there is no black folk who are trustees at the Carol Stream Village Board. How about diversity for the Board of Trustees of Carol Stream? Having people on this board from different ethnicities, classes, backgrounds, and worldviews could do wonders. This is a council for the whole city or whole village of Carol Stream. Some food for thought. And more food for thought. I suggest that instead of working hard to not be perceived as racist, how about those of us with white skin, education, and money actually work to reverse the racism that is rampant in DuPage County, starting with this case of the killing of Isaac Goodloe in the sanctuary of his own bedroom. Bring justice for this family. Care for them in a way that you know that you would be cared for if this had happened in your family. Tonight I implore you to do two things. First, release the information the family is asking for. Perhaps you say that you cannot, that as a village board you do not have the power to do that. Well, then I implore you to do the second thing. Place justice for Isaac Goodloe as the first item on your agenda tonight. For tonight's agenda, you can do this. There is nothing that says that you as trustees and as human beings cannot change the agenda for tonight and place justice for Isaac Goodloe as the first item for your business tonight. Last meeting you talked about Arbor Day. Trees are important, but a life was lost at the hands of the Carol Stream Police Department. I think that everyone in this room would agree that at this time, justice for Isaac Goodloe deserves a place on the village board agenda more than discussion about trees. Justice for Isaac.
Louis?
Hello. Yes, I am here, and I'm reading this on behalf of one of my fellow group members that couldn't be here today. First and foremost, Isaac Goodloe should still be here with us today. The fact that he is not is massive indication that we must transform our value system so that it prioritizes collective care above punishment and disability. My heart aches in response to this loss, and I wish the family all the healing that is possible in this moment. I am grateful for the efforts of Isaac's family to date in terms of testifying at the village board meetings and calling on state's attorney to intervene. That being said, I am concerned that the demands outlined by the family members in the past do not go far enough. Specifically, I do not subscribe to the idea that the master's tools will dismantle the master's house. I call on the village of Carroll Stream to fully divest from policing and instead redirect those funds into areas such as education, healthcare, housing, food, and so on. Another world is possible, and we all have a role to play in willing that world into existence. Thank you.
Grace?
I'm so sorry for your loss. Isaac Goodloe should still be here. Your family members should still be here, and I'm here to support you and demand justice for your loved one. I'm here to uplift the demands of the family. I demand justice and accountability. Release the names of the officers involved and hold them accountable. The family is the most important group of members in this room. It is abhorrent and repulsive that the only way that we are allowed to move forward is to stand in a monthly city council meeting where we beg white people with power to do something. Last month was my first city council meeting where most of the speakers use the same logic in order to appeal to the empathy of the board. A white community member would try to convince the white board members to imagine police killing their child and then following with the fact that police would never kill a white child in this community. That argument never sat well with me the millions of times I heard it. I don't think that appealing to the empathy of the board will work. I think that they don't have any empathy and that their position on the board requires that they have none. I am repulsed by the focus of this meeting and the centering of white people in power instead of the grieving family. Isaac Goodloe should still be here. The family should be empowered and able to grieve in their own way instead of publicly towards government officials. What we in this room are experiencing here is a form of emotional and bureaucratic violence. A life has been lost in this town, and for months we have seen no justice and accountability. I believe that no board meeting, police department, or current legal system has the ability to deliver true justice. I know that as long as the police remain active in Carroll Stream and in the United States, more Black life will be lost. What can we do to make sure that the police officers never maim, murder, or take another life again in our community? We can abolish the police. Justice for Isaac Goodloe.
Chens? C-H? Chris? Chris?
Chris.
Chris?
I never got a chance to know Isaac, and I hate that I've only spoken his name after his life was taken from him. But I hope to learn about him, and I commit to making sure to know his name and for everybody else to know his name and for his name to carry us towards meeting his family's demands and towards liberation. I know true justice and accountability don't get made in spaces like this, so I'm not really here to ask you anything, but I am here to make sure that it's named, that the police and village boards are tied to a long legacy of anti-Black violence. Violence that goes so far back as we can bring names up like Emmett Till. I want people here that are behind me to know that they are part of a long legacy of resistance, that they are part of a legacy and powerful people, and I want to uplift the people of Ferguson who had to respond to the murder of Michael Brown, and I want to uplift the people who defended and demanded justice for Eric Gardner. I say this because I know that the village board wants us to think this is an isolated incident, and they want us to think this was just an accident, and they want this to just die down. But it's not an accident, and it's not an isolated incident. It's tied to our long, long history of anti-Blackness in this country. I see this space as incredibly hollow. I know that we're gonna leave, and you're gonna carry on with your agendas, and then you're gonna go sleep in your bed safely, a privilege that was not afforded to Isaac Goodloe and not afforded to someone like Breonna Taylor. We have a responsibility to each other, and we belong to each other. You must meet the family's demands, and to everyone behind me, we must go further. We must make sure that Isaac Goodloe's name leads us towards true justice and true liberation without police in the suburbs. I want to end by saying a few lines from June Jordan's poem, a poem about police violence that was written in 1978 in response to the murder of Arthur Miller in Crown Heights, Brooklyn, at the hands of police. Tell me something. What you think would happen if every time they kill a Black boy, then we kill a cop? Every time they kill a Black man, then we kill a cop? You think the accident rate would lower subsequently?
Maya Miller.
I didn't prepare anything to say today because I keep preparing things to say and it feels like it doesn't matter. But I would like to share with you a few interesting things that have happened in our community since I've been here. I have been trying to share Isaac's story with community via Facebook or other groups, and I met with an interesting resistance that I find to be disturbing and scary. People have been sending me Facebook messages telling me that I hate the police and that I should be quiet. People have been hateful and mean. And interestingly, they seem to all be connected to you people as your friends or people connected to the Carroll Stream Police Department. And I'm happy to share screenshots of this with you, but I say that not to out people, but just to let you know that there is something bigger going on in our community that's allowing this to happen. And the way that you're handling this is only going to make this divisiveness worse. There are people, maybe you aren't them, who are racist in our community. There are people who have told me that Isaac deserved to die because he had committed a previous crime. People believe that. There are people in this community who will blindly support the police no matter what they do. And I'm not against the police, actually. I just think there should be accountability for anybody who makes a mistake, myself included. And I know that you keep saying, we can't share the officers' names, and there's an investigation, and blah, blah, blah. But like somebody else said, where would you be on Monday night if your family member was shot? What are we supposed to do? What are these people supposed to do? Who are they supposed to talk to? How does justice actually get served to them? And why is it taking so long? And why has Carroll Stream hired a law firm that is just so damn good at defending cities when they make mistakes? Wouldn't it be better just to admit a mistake was made, make it right with the family, invest in the police department and education and just do the right thing? Like, why do we have to keep coming here? Why are we going to have to go bother Mr. Berlin? Why is that going to take so long? Like, this shouldn't take this much time. Like the man who first spoke, you have power to do the right thing. And you sitting there in the silence and the saying that you don't have power, that's a lie. That's a lie. You don't have zero power as the mayor of this town. You don't have zero power as the police chief. Whoever has your hands tied or your mouth shut, maybe you should come to this side of the table. It sucks over here to have to be the ones begging people to say something or say the things out loud, but you have more power than that. And to Isaac's family, I'm tired with you. And thank you guys for showing up, because it's hard for them, and it's been hard to see the community not be there. And every one of you that just shows up and supports them, it means something. And they need your support, and they need your love, and we need to be a community that knows that people will show up for us. So thank you.
Sherry Plendelman.
Good evening, Mayor, Board, others. As a community, we have a growing concern in the need for justice for Mr. Isaac Goodloe's family. I'm so sorry for your loss and care deeply about each of you. Injustice impacts every layer of life. We've heard in other town hall meetings how it's difficult for Mr. Goodloe's family to sleep, eat, feel safe. This is not okay. I talked to a mom of 5 who lives in the Village Brook community, who said her children are afraid to play outside. Why? Because they're afraid of the police. This is not okay. I think of the children in Mr. Goodloe's family who go to school while having the tragedy as an undercurrent. I too am a teacher at a middle school where Village Brook students come from. It's heartbreaking. The children don't see justice prevailing. This is just not okay. As a community, we ask for these things: the names of the officers to be released, the 911 audio call to be released, and number 3, the officer who killed Mr. Isaac Goodloe to be released from duty. As concerns of this community are growing, we will continue to ask for these things. We support Mr. Goodloe's family, and we want liberty and justice for all.
Jessica Marichal.
Hi, I'm here to call for transparency and accountability. I'm here as a mom, as a neighbor of 10 years, and as a psychologist in this community where I get to see the mental health toll of this incident and the loss of Isaac's life. I believe that the Bible calls us to love our neighbors, and I take that very literally. That's why I'm here tonight. I think that means showing up until we all have the same sense of safety and the same sense of opportunity in this community. You know, I know many of us lined the streets in 2020 along Roosevelt and Wheaton saying Black Lives Matter. And I am ashamed that it's this quiet when something happens in our actual community right here to our neighbors. We're too silent. And I don't want my neighbors living in fear in their own homes for their children. I'm raising 4 children right now just down the street, and I never had to consider whether they were safe in their own beds before. And I'm still not, honestly. I know the discrepancies. I'm concerned about what's not clear still. I watched the videos. I can't tell what happened, and I think we deserve to know. And I think that it's really important that we have transparency with that, even if it costs us. I think that the decisions that led up to entry into the residence need to be considered too, not just the actions in the moment. These are systemic things that happen that snowballed. And I also want you to know that we haven't forgotten. I know that maybe there's a hope that things will blow over if you wait long enough or stall long enough. But I'm going to continue to say Isaac's name. I haven't forgotten his name. My kids know his name. And I think that as a follower of Jesus, I want to see God's care for every person in my community expressed in our institutions. And the first step is courageous truth-telling and choosing not to prioritize impression management. And that's where our worst decisions to respond to these incidents are made, is where we put that as a priority. So I ask that you set that aside and that you really, truly seek what's best for this community.
Cynthia Strasheim.
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you today. My name is Cynthia Stroshine, and I'm a resident of nearby Wheaton. I've become aware of the shooting of unarmed Isaac Goodloe on February 3rd, 2024, and the lack of transparency and accountability of both the Carroll Stream Police Department, led by Chief Cummings, and the Village of Carroll Stream, led by you, Mayor Savarino, and trustees Ansamo, Berger, Brusoloni, Gieser, McCarthy, and Zalek. I think we all know what core values are, but just in case, they are defined as the central guiding beliefs and principles that underpin a company and its employees. They frame how an organization deals with customers, partnerships, and stakeholders. In essence, they shape how employees act. Most organizations have core values, including the organization I work for and the Village of Carroll Stream. As a paid employee, as you all are, I'm expected to embrace and uphold our core values in all I do. One of my organization's core values is accountability. That is also a core value of Carroll Stream. And by definition, it should shape how village employees, all of you, approach situations and those you are sworn to serve. But this isn't happening with this shooting of Isaac Goodloe. There has been absolutely no accountability from the police officers who shot Mr. Goodloe, Police Chief Cummings, Mayor Savarino, or any of the village trustees. Instead, you, a group of publicly paid employees sworn to serve all residents of Carroll Stream, are choosing to conceal the names of the 2 officers who shot Mr. Goodloe, choosing not to release the body cam footage, and choosing not to release the 911 call that spurred the incident. When you all should be standing true to the core value of accountability, you have all decided to run the other way and conceal what really happened. I am not anti-police or anti-government. I can't imagine how difficult it is to be a police officer, and I trust the police to protect and serve in their communities. I'm sure the officers involved in this shooting are not taking it lightly, but they also aren't being held accountable, nor is the police department. We all make mistakes. Granted, not all of us make mistakes as grand as this, but it's how we respond to our mistakes, small or large, that show people who we really are. In the past 3 months, Police Chief Cummings and you, the village trustees, have shown us that you are not willing to embrace and uphold accountability as you have sworn to do. I encourage you all to have the personal integrity to do so moving forward.
Tracy Humphrey.
Over the years, when another senseless murder of a person of color has occurred at the hands of police, I foolishly and shamefully found solace in the idea that it was happening very far away. It gave me a tiny bit of peace that something like this couldn't happen in my community and in my backyard, and now I know it was a false sense of peace because I believe that it has now happened. Like many of you, I have children. My oldest will be 26 in a few weeks, and it blows my mind that we can live in a place where something like this can happen. I'm also a therapist, and I specialize with working with parents that have lost children. And I will tell you that parents do not recover from things like this. And brothers and sisters and boyfriends and girlfriends do not recover from things like this. There's nothing that we can do to bring Isaac back, but at the very least, we have to demand that full justice is done. And that includes that a full transcript is released, and that video footage is released, and that names of police need to be released, and that that Mr. Berlin needs to press charges. In a trial, we will find out what actually happened, but I don't believe that it serves anyone's best interest to continue to keep this concealed. It erodes trust in a system that's supposed to keep children safe. It breaks my heart that there's kids now playing at in this apartment building that I'm sure heard shots that night and look at their skin and know what they look like and know that they look a lot like Isaac, and now they don't feel safe playing in the park. That's not a safe community. And that if the board does not put pressure on the police department and on the state's attorney in order to do something, then the board has dropped the ball and justice is not occurring in Carol Stream. Thank you.
Gabrielle Rezek.
Hi, my name is Gabriella Rezek. I live in Wheaton, just over the border from Carol Stream, and where unarmed Mr. Isaac Goodloe was shot and killed. First, I just want to ask you to add the discussion of this as an agenda item. We will not stop attending and making public comment, and as elected officials, you have a responsibility to respond to citizen concerns. I'm also once again asking you to direct the police department to release the names of the officers who were involved, as well as the unredacted body cam footage. I'm also asking that you demand DuPage County State's Attorney Bob Berlin to bring charges against the officers responsible for Mr. Goodloe's death. You should want justice served in your community. Whatever Mr. Goodloe may or may not have done, none of it was punishable by death. Thank you.
Richard Hildebrand.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the Village Board. I'm here as the commander of the Carol Stream VFW. I'm here to invite you all to our Memorial Day service on May the 27th at the Memorial Plaza in the town center. We have a Poppy Days coming up at Caputo's on Saturday and Sunday, May 18th and 19th, and again at Jewel on the 25th and the 26th. Those 2 weekends are our only fundraiser basically for the entire year. It gives us the funding that we have available to contribute to different community events, food pantries, homeless shelters, Christmas sharing program. We just did a $500 award for a scholarship at Glenbard North for a senior. So I ask if you do shop at Caputo's or Jewel on those 2 weekends, please be generous when you see the guys out there with the poppy sales. And I don't have any comment about the Isaac Goodloe. I'm sorry for the family, but I realize that I think justice wheels turns very slow. And unfortunately, a lot of these incidences, it takes a year to a year and a half before anything really comes to gel of it. But I give you credit for your efforts, and I think eventually it should come forward what you want to see. You're asking for justice, I know it's justice, but I'm not going to define it because the fact is, what you want for justice and what other people want for justice are two different things. And I feel we just have to wait. No. You're asking for him to be tried in a court of public opinion. No. It's not.
That's not right.
I would like to invite the police department also to the Carroll Stream Memorial Day service. I've been at the fire department earlier today. It's a public affair. You're all invited. Thank you for my post on time here. I have a check for you next week or so for the parade committee. Thank you.
Caitlin Forner.
Hi, so I'm actually not also speaking on the Isaac thing. So I'm here for the Carroll Stream Women's Club. I didn't mean it like that, but I'm, as a resident. That's what you said. Yeah, okay. As a resident, I kind of think it's appalling that we're all here ganging up. I understand what happened.
Ms. Fortner, please address the board.
Okay, sorry. So I'm here with the Carroll Stream Women's Club, and we are hosting the donation drive in partnership with Violet's Kitchen. Thanks to Officer Manager Bill Holmer, we have a bin downstairs, and through May 21st, we are collecting items. We are hosting the drive for community residents who unfortunately are unsheltered. Part of Violet's Kitchen is that they help feed the homeless veteran population, as well as other residents who are in need. And so we are collecting items such as sunscreen, baseball caps, bug spray, anything that we consider a basic necessity that we will put together in backpacks for our community members who need it. So I just want to thank the Village and the Carroll Stream Public Library and local Carroll Stream restaurants for partnering with us. Thank you.
That concludes the listening post portion of the meeting, so I think we need to take a break and
Excuse me, Mr. Mayor.
get some composure back.
There's a couple electronic comments.
We've got a
electronic comments.
Oh,
There are a
I'm
couple.
sorry.
Yeah. Should I read them out?
Go ahead.
Okay, 2 electronic comments received, one from Linda Slinger of Wheaton. I want to support the family of Isaac Goodloe, who was shot to death by officers of the Carroll Stream Police Department on February 3rd, 2024. I agree with his family that you should demonstrate justice and transparency in the process of investigation and revelation of the facts and the officers involved. The full body cam footage should be released. Only through true understanding of what happened can policies be changed so that fewer of these incidents will happen. The second comment is from Alicia Edwards of Hawthorne Woods, Illinois. In response to the heartbreaking news about Isaac Goodloe III's unjust death by police, my heart truly goes out to his family. This tragedy reminds us of the urgent need to challenge and break down oppressive policing systems that harm marginalized communities. The actions of the Carroll Stream Police expose deep-rooted flaws in law enforcement. We must not only demand transparency and accountability, but also imagine better ways to keep our communities safe. The community stands in solidarity with Isaac's family and all affected by state violence. That concludes the items.
Was the only one?
Those are the only 2.
Thank you. I'm sorry I missed that. We just had one come in. Ashley Baker.
I'm so sorry for your loss. I am here today to read on behalf of my community member, the Isaac Goodloe matter was and still is a very serious matter. These are the words of our community member, George. All investigating into the matter should have begun immediately and have been concluded by this point. With body cam footage and officer statements being the only evidence, pressing
charges in this matter basically hinged on a decision to be made by the Carroll Stream Police Chief and DuPage County Prosecutor Robert Berlin. Why is this decision still ongoing? Why are the names of the officers and the unedited video being kept a secret from Isaac Goodloe's family and the public? At the very least, why isn't there any explanation being given to the family regarding why the two officers pulled the trigger on Isaac Goodloe? All of these questions still being unanswered at this point can mean only one thing. It means that the Carroll Stream Police Department and the DuPage County State's Attorney's Office are looking in every angle possible to help have a reason to give the officers involved a pass for firing their weapons and killing Isaac Goodloe. The officers involved have already made statements of their versions. Therefore, a decision to charge the officers or not should have already been made by this time. This DuPage County system has it set in stone that they will protect their police and employees over a citizen any day. Recently, Robert Berlin has personally and factually witnessed video footage of DuPage County law enforcement officers abusing their powers and using excessive force against a citizen. Robert Berlin's seen the law enforcement officers intentionally lie and omit important details in their versions of events against a citizen and still favorably supported the officers over the citizen and a clear-cut video. Right now, there is a pending lawsuit by George Taylor involving state's attorney Robert Berlin, which shows Robert Berlin pretends as if he doesn't see these law enforcement officers abusing their power. He ignored this, although it is seen on crystal clear video. He is attempting to protect the law enforcement officers in the George Taylor incident, which means that he is absolutely attempting to find a way to protect the officers who shot Isaac Goodloe. Goodloe family believes that the truth is being covered up by the entire video not being released, and no information being shared regarding the officers' versions of why both officers pulled their triggers. No family should feel that way. This group believes that people of color are automatically looked upon as violent in the minds of most police officers. This is the reason that the Carroll Stream Police went into Isaac Goodloe's apartment with 6 officers carrying firearms and shields like it was a hostage situation and not just another domestic disturbance call. We absolutely believe that if this domestic call involved a white male instead of a black male, likely nobody would have been shot dead. 2 officers have more than enough to handle that situation. Let's get justice for Isaac Goodloe. May he rest in power.
Is there a motion to establish a consent agenda?
So moved.
Moved by trustee Fruzzoloni, seconded by trustee McCarthy. Clerk, call the roll, please.
Trustee Anselmo.
Aye.
Trustee Berger.
Aye.
Trustee Zalik.
Aye.
Trustee Gieser.
Aye.
Trustee Fruzzoloni.
Aye.
Trustee McCarthy.
Aye.
Okay. I think we need to take a break for a few minutes. We need to do what?
Go through the whole consent agenda.
Because we already haven't.
Okay.
We just had the vote on establishing the agenda. Do you want, okay. Okay. Trustee Anselmo.
Aye.
Trustee Berger.
Aye.
Trustee Zalik.
Aye.
Trustee Gieser.
Aye.
Trustee Fruzzoloni.
Aye.
Trustee McCarthy.
Aye.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay, we're going to take a break for a while. Pardon me?
Community member was worried about that. And Mr. Zalick was falling asleep. I just want that on the record, too.
No, I'm well rested, thanks. I'm not sleeping. My eyes were always open.
Please.
Board and Commission reports. Plan Commission Zoning Board of Appeals. North Avenue TH Main Freight, 27 West 364 North Avenue. Variations from sign regulations. Recommended approval with conditions 5-0.
Yes.
Yes.
Staff reports and recommendations. Renewal of the OpenGov Asset Management Application and awarding a contract for purchase to OpenGov in the amount of $201,321.77, which would be payable over a 3-year term.
Yes.
Yes.
Award of a contract for GIS services to Alexis RAOs in the amount of $40,000 pursuant to the provisions of Chapter 5, Article 8, Section 5-8-14F of the Carroll Stream Code of Ordinances.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Award of a 36-month data and voice communications contract to Comcast for communications services per the terms in their 3-year proposal of $3,199.50 monthly pursuant to Section 5-8-14F of the Carroll Stream Code of Ordinances.
Yes.
Yes. Purchase of a 2024 Chevrolet 5500 with maintainer crane from EJ Equipment Company under Sourcewell contract number 060920-NAF in the amount of $193,950 pursuant to the provisions of Section 5-8-3B and subsection 5-8-14L of the Carroll Stream Code of Ordinances.
Yes.
Yes. Waiver of competitive bidding as authorized in Section 5-8-14 of the Village Code and purchase a 2024 Ford F-250 pickup truck from Hawk Ford, Carroll Stream, for an amount of $53,670.04.
Yes.
Yes. Purchase of 2 Peterbilt 548 single-axle dump truck cab and chassis under Sourcewell contract number 060920-PMC from JX Peterbilt for an amount of $284,882.86 pursuant to the provisions of Section 5-8-3B and subsection 5-8-14L of the Carroll Stream Code of Ordinances, and installation of snow and ice equipment on 2 Peterbilt 548 single-axle dump truck cab and chassis under NPP Gov contract number PS 22170 from Henderson Manufacturing for an amount of $282,928 pursuant to the provisions of Section 5-8-3B and subsection 5-8-14L of the Carroll Stream Code of Ordinances for a total cost of $567,810.86.
Off.
That was pulled off by Trustee Zalick. Waiver of competitive bidding as authorized in Section 5-8-14 of the Village Code and purchase a 2024 Ford Maverick pickup truck from Hawk Ford, Carroll Stream, for an amount of $27,695.
Yes.
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 Yes. Purchase of a 2024 CAT 430 backhoe with attachments under the Sourcewell contract number 020223 CAT from Alter for CAT in an amount of $159,300 and accept $17,500 for trade-in of the existing backhoe pursuant to the provisions of Section 5-8-3B and subsection 5-8-14L of the Carroll Stream Code of Ordinances.
Yes.
Yes. Purchase of a Brine Masters BM6 from Brine Masters under Minnesota Purchasing Agreement Contract Number 222340 in the amount of $32,712 pursuant to the provisions of Section 5-8-3B and subsection 5-8-14L of the Carroll Stream Code of Ordinances.
Yes.
Yes.
Klein Creek Trail, Coon to Thunderbird Bennett. Award of a contract to Earthworks Land Improvement and Development Corp. For the installation of a WRC pedestrian bridge at a total price of $126,250.
Yes.
Yes.
Approval of a native plant management contract to Bedrock Earthscapes LLC for an amount of $37,098 pursuant to the provisions of Section 5-8-14B of the Carroll Stream Code of Ordinances.
Yes.
Waiver of competitive bidding as authorized in Section 5-8-14 of the Village Code, and authorize the village manager to execute a 10-year contract with Axon Enterprise, Inc. for a total cost of $2,133,231.04 for all in-car, body-worn, and interview room camera systems and a drone program.
Yes.
Waiver of competitive bidding as authorized in Section 5-8-14 of the Village Code, and authorize the village manager to execute a 6-year contract with Axon Enterprise, Inc. for Axon Taser 10 devices in an amount of $290,890.40.
Yes.
Award of a contract to the Police Executive Research Forum for integrating communications, assessment, and tactics training for a fixed fee of $40,000.
Yes.
Ordinances. Ordinance amending Chapter 11, Article 2 of the Carroll Stream Code of Ordinances by decreasing the number of Class A liquor licenses from 15 to 14. Pub Yahoo, Inc., doing business as Pub Yahoo, 570 South Gary Avenue.
Yes.
Yes.
That is ordinance number 2024-05-21.
Did you say 2-1?
21,
Thank you.
yes, 21. Ordinance amending Chapter 11, Article 2 of the Carroll Stream Code of Ordinances by decreasing the number of Class V liquor licenses from 19 to 18. Pub Yahoo, Inc., doing business as Pub Yahoo, 570 South Gary Avenue.
Yes.
Yes.
That is ordinance number 2024-05-22. Ordinance amending Chapter 11, Article 2 of the Carroll Stream Code of Ordinances by decreasing the number of Class F liquor licenses from 12 to 11. Tasty House 1 LLC, doing business as Tasty House 1, 1042 Fountain View Drive.
Yes.
That is ordinance number 2024-05-23. Ordinance amending Chapter 11, Article 2 of the Carroll Stream Code of Ordinances by decreasing the number of Class MB liquor licenses from 1 to 0. 206 Brewing Company LLC, doing business as 206 Brewing Company, 600 East North Avenue.
Yes.
Yes.
That is ordinance number 2024-05-24. Ordinance amending Chapter 11, Article 2 of the Carroll Stream Code of Ordinances by increasing the number of Class V liquor licenses from 18 to 19. Legends Pizza LLC, doing business as Legends Pizza, 158 North Gary Avenue.
Yes.
Yes.
That is ordinance number 2024-05-25. Ordinance amending Chapter 14, General Offenses, Article 2, Offenses Against Persons, Section 14-2-33 of the Carroll Stream Code of Ordinances by adding additional synthetic cannabinoids, stimulants, and hallucinogens to the list of substances that are banned from sale or possession in the village, and adds hemp-derived cannabinoids and kratom as substances banned from sale or possession.
Yes.
Yes.
That is ordinance number 2024-05-26. Ordinance approving sign variations, North Avenue TH Main Freight, 27 West 364 North Avenue, for a new sign element to be installed on the Main Freight property.
Yes.
Yes.
That is ordinance number 2024-05-27. Resolutions. Resolution approving a First Amendment to the non-exclusive license agreement with New Singular Wireless PCS LLC, 1015 West Lees Road, parcel number 01-24-300-021.
Yes.
Yes.
That is resolution number 3360. Resolution declaring Engineering Unit 307-2009 Ford Ranger surplus and authorization to dispose of the property as proposed pursuant to the provisions of Section 5-8-15 of the Carroll Stream Code of Ordinances.
Yes.
Yes.
That is resolution number 3361. Resolution appropriating $100,000 of motor fuel tax funds for maintenance of streets and highways by municipality under the Illinois Highway Code 2024 Crackville Project, Section 25-00000-00-GM.
Yes.
Yes.
That is resolution number 3362. New business, amplification permit, approval and waiver of the fee for Glenbard North High School's senior picnic to be held on May 17th, 2024, from 9:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. at Hampy Park.
Yes.
Yes.
Payment of bills, regular bills, April 16th, 2024 through April 29th, 2024.
Yes.
Yes.
Regular bills, April 30th, 2024 through May 6th, 2024.
Yes.
Yes.
Addendum warrants, April 16th, 2024 through May 6th, 2024.
Yes.
Yes.
And Mr. Mayor, that concludes the items on the consent agenda.
Is there a motion to put those items on the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second?
Moved by trustee Anselmo, seconded by trustee McCarthy. Clerk, call the roll, please.
Trustee Anselmo.
Aye.
Trustee Berger.
Aye.
Trustee Zalick.
Aye.
Trustee Giesert.
Aye.
Trustee Fusiloni.
Aye.
Trustee McCarthy.
Aye.
Is there a motion to approve those items by omnibus vote?
So moved?
Second.
Moved by trustee Fusiloni, seconded by trustee Anselmo. Clerk, call the roll, please.
Trustee Anselmo.
Aye.
Trustee Berger.
Aye.
Trustee Zalick.
Aye.
Trustee Giesert.
Aye.
Trustee Fusiloni.
Aye.
Trustee McCarthy.
Aye.
Okay, we'll circle back to H6. Trustee Bailey, pull that off.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, the reason I pulled it off was, after reading all the memos, I see that under H5, the purchase of the F-250 is to replace another unit, Unit 19. On H7, I see the Ford Mavic was to replace 304. On H8, I see the backhoe was to replace unit number 26. And I see on H9, the stainless steel salt brine hopper was to replace the existing plastic one. So I took off H6 because I haven't seen if we're replacing or just purchasing these two vehicles. And if we are just purchasing, I'm wondering, I understand we'll get hit with snow one of these years, but I'm just wondering, are we replacing vehicles or are we just buying additional vehicles?
Mr. Mayor, I can answer that. I apologize, I should have caught that in the memo. These are replacement vehicles. They are spelled out in the Equipment Replacement Fund. They're replacing two trucks that are over 20 years old and need to be replaced.
Okay.
So yes, they are in fact replacements.
Okay, that's all that was my only concern. So do we have to
You gotta make a motion then.
make a motion to approve H6?
Second?
Second.
Moved by trustee Zalick, seconded by trustee McCarthy. Clerk, call the roll, please.
Trustee Anselmo.
Aye.
Trustee Berger.
Aye.
Trustee Zalick.
Aye.
Trustee Giesert.
Aye.
Trustee Fusiloni.
Aye.
And Trustee McCarthy.
Aye.
Motion to adjourn.
We still have two proclamations to go back to.
Yep.
Oh, we are going to?
Yes, we-
Okay, so we are going to go back. So the first proclamation will be read by trustee Zalick.
Motorcycle? All right. Observing 2024 Motorcycle Awareness Month. Whereas the state of Illinois is proud to be the leader in motorcycle safety and education, as safety is the highest priority for the highways and streets of our village and state. And whereas motorcycles are a common and economical means of transportation that reduces fuel consumption and road wear and contributes in a significant way to the relief of traffic and parking congestion. And whereas it is especially meaningful that the citizens of our village be aware of motorcycles on the roadways and recognize the importance of motorcycle safety. And whereas the members of ABATE of Illinois, Inc., a brotherhood aimed towards education, continually promote motorcycle safety, education, and awareness in high school drivers' education programs and to the general public in our communities, presenting motorcycle awareness programs to over 120,000 participants in Illinois over the past 9 years. And whereas all motorists should join ABATE in actively promoting safe motorcycle operations during the month of May, all roadway users should unite in the safe sharing of roadways within the village of Carroll Stream. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that Mayor Frank Severino Sr. and the Carroll Stream Board of Trustees, DuPage County, Illinois, in recognition of 37 years of ABATE of Illinois, Inc., and in recognition of the continued role Illinois serves as a leader in motorcycle safety, education, and awareness, in the exercise of its home rule powers, does hereby proclaim May Motorcycle Awareness Month in the village of Carroll Stream and urge all motorists to join in an effort to improve safety and awareness on our roadways.
Thank you, Trustee Zalick. The next proclamation is recognizing May 12th to the 18th as Police Week in Carroll Stream, and Trustee Ruzzolini will read that.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Proclamation recognizing May 12th through the 18th, 2024 as Police Week in Carroll Stream. Whereas in 1962, President John F. Kennedy proclaimed May 15th as National Peace Officers Memorial Day and the calendar week in which May 15th falls as National Police Week. And whereas, established by a joint resolution of Congress in 1962, National Police Week pays special recognition to those law enforcement officers and their families who have lost their lives in the line of duty for the safety and protection of others. And whereas, since the first recorded death in 1791, more than 24,000 law enforcement officers in the United States have made the ultimate sacrifice and been killed in the line of duty, including 1,174 officers from the state of Illinois. And whereas the names of these dedicated public servants are engraved on the walls of the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial in Washington, D.C. And whereas 282 new names of fallen heroes has been added to the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial this spring, including 118 officers killed in 2023 and 164 officers killed in previous years. And whereas the service and sacrifice of all officers killed in the line of duty were honored during the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial Fund's 36th Annual Candlelight Vigil, which will be held on the evening of May 13th, 2024. And whereas Police Week honors the approximate 900,000 law enforcement officers currently serving in the communities across the United States, including the 62 dedicated officers of the Carroll Stream Police Department. Now therefore be it proclaimed by the Mayor and Board of Trustees of the Village of Carroll Stream, on behalf of all elected and appointed officials and residents of Carroll Stream, that May 12th through the 18th, 2024 is formally designated as Police Week in Carroll Stream and publicly salutes the service of law enforcement officers in our community and in communities across the nation. Proclaimed this 6th day of May, 2024.
Thank you, Trustee Frizzoloni.
The irony of this, I can't even sit with this. Have I missed the proclamation about Isaac Goodloe? Did that happen at a previous meeting that I haven't heard? Because this is my first one, so maybe I missed it. If you can refresh my memory, when was there a proclamation about his life and the value of justice, and it's unfortunate that he's dead? There'd be a way to have a proclamation that doesn't have to land on a side of who was right and who was wrong. Please stay awake. Please focus. Did I miss it? Because if we can have a proclamation about motorcycles and police, and again, I'm not dissing the police, but how has Carroll Stream not had a proclamation about this man? Open to the floor. Anyone? Is anyone's conscience a little bit poked at this? Where is your humanity? Nothing. So there's not been a proclamation. Is that what I'm understanding?
Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
That's your best answer. There's no humanity. You have nothing to say, Mayor.
Moved by Trustee Anselmo, seconded by?
Second.
Who?
Me.
Seconded by Trustee McCarthy. Clerk,
Trustee-
call a roll, please.
Trustee Anselmo.
Aye.
Trustee Berger.
Aye.
Trustee Zalick.
Aye.
Trustee Gieser.
Aye.
Trustee Frizzoloni.
Aye.
Trustee McCarthy.
Aye.
Meeting's adjourned.